Hello everyone, Sigmar here. Unfortunately, Zaxven has rolled a natural one on his engineering check, so his microphone is dead, and I have to do this on my own this time. Recently there's been like 3 patches to the Scion Custom Races mod to StarCraft 2, 2 huge ones and 1 tiny, but the big ones are perhaps the biggest patches in the history of the mod and I wanted to talk about them. This is going to be a short series of videos because I wanted to talk about each Scion race one by one, starting with Xayid. I think this is going to be the shortest one. You can of course expect the Genetron and Chiron videos to appear on the channel at some point, probably in the near future. Huge thanks to all that have already subscribed to the channel. It feels good to be appreciated, so if you like the stuff you see and hear, please subscribe or at least leave a like or a comment. If you have any questions or ideas for future videos, please post them below. On to the Xayid changes. Let's start with a simple one. Scavenger got its life increased to 45, up from 40. Scavenger is a worker unit for the Xayid. I don't think the change was really needed, but it is appreciated. I think the idea behind this change is that scavengers are pretty vulnerable while constructing Xayid buildings. They have to do it in a melee range and they do not dance around the structure like an SCV does, so they are often more vulnerable to being attacked and killed than other workers. Thumbs up from me. Now we have some Scorpolisk adjustments. The unit of course being an anti-light melee fighter Xayid has access to early on. The most important change to the unit is that it now is cheaper by 25 minerals and it now costs only 100 minerals and 25 gas. The unit is pretty basic, so it is good to see its cost reduced. Along with this change came the hit points decrease, but I think the unit could have been a little bit too tanky considering it has a base armor of 2, making it an excellent choice to deal with small, fast shooting units like Marines and Zerglings. Keep in mind that Scorpolisks also deal bonus damage to light targets, so it really is a Marine killer. Its attack speed got slightly reduced, but I don't think it will even be noticeable. Last thing that was changed is the unit radius, which is now smaller, and I think it's a really good change because the unit will now be more, say, swarmy. Roamer received a simple change to its Bile Ducts upgrade, which had its cost reduced by 50-50. Roamers are of course great for early game scouting and poking, but unfortunately they quickly became obsolete and really need their 2 upgrades to keep them competitive in the mid game. Reducing the cost of making the unit combat ready is pretty good, though I would probably go a little bit further and combine the upgrades, or maybe even build one into the unit so it starts with one. Even then, I can understand Solstice, the creator of the mod, being cautious on this matter, considering early roamer pushes apparently used to be pretty impressive in the past, so yeah, let's play it safe. On to the star of today's show, Manlink. There are a lot of changes to the unit and I will not read all of them, but I will summarize them of course. The unit didn't really get redesigned, but it definitely got rebalanced, and it also received a new ability stolen from another unit, which I will talk about later on. Manlink is now a lot cheaper because both its mineral and gas costs got reduced by 25, which means it now costs only 50 minerals and 100 gas, and on top of that its supply cost also got reduced to 2 from 3. This change is excellent because the unit didn't feel like a free supply unit, it was too expensive and because of this, criminally underused. The unit also got smaller because of the radius decrease, faster because of the movement speed increased, and a little bit less tanky because its HP got reduced by 10. Its 2 weak attacks got combined into one more powerful, which, because of how armor works, is always a good change. But to compensate, the attack speed got reduced, so overall the DPS of the unit was decreased. Fortunately for the Manlink, the unit is not designed to be a damage dealer, but a support unit. Speaking of, its Manlink ability got changed and now it no longer heals 30 HP over time, but now heals 20 hit points instantly, with the cooldown of the ability decreased from 3 seconds to 2 seconds. Overall I believe it's the same HP over time, but the fact that it is healed instantly is a plus and can save a unit in a clutch situation. Reduced cooldown means that the unit will run out of the energy faster, but right now I have no idea if it will even be a problem. Sacrificial Mutation got changed too, and now it doesn't cost any energy, which is good, because the ability gives the player opportunity to face a decision if you want to lose the unit and make it provide an AoE heal, or not lose the unit, and this decision was often unavailable because the unit simply didn't have enough energy. Also, the healing cocoon that the unit turns into when using the Sacrificial Mutation got its armor decreased from 10 to 5, making it more easily snipeable by opponents, which gives enemy players a nice opportunity for counterplay, which is always good. And last but not least, the unit also got the Covering Spray ability, which now costs 100 energy, but of course it's available a lot earlier than before. The duration of the ability is reduced to 10 seconds and to 30 seconds after Persistent Spores upgrade is researched, but that's plenty of time to capitalize on a cloaked unit in some early game skirmishes. I even think there is a potential for some early game shenanigans, where you move out across the map with a Manlink and Scorpolisk or Roamer, and then cloak them and make them enter enemy main or natural bases and harass them for some time with cloak. It is an opportunity to kill like 2 or 3 workers, I think, but it remains to be seen if this is a valid strategy at all. Moving on, Eroder got its mineral cost reduced to 100 from 125. Funnily enough, I've always thought eroders are on the stronger side of the spectrum, and I was considering suggesting an increase to their cost, but it appears Solstice thinks differently. No idea why this change is being made, perhaps Solstice wants the unit to be used more, but then again not a lot of people are applying Xayid anyways now. It's a sad bugless reality we live in now. I know that Chiron is shiny and cool, but I think more people should consider playing as the bugs. Anyway, Cast No Risk lost their ability to use Covering Spray because the spell got moved to Manlink as previously stated. They also received a change of functionality for their Explosive Globe spell. Now targets hit with the ability will be launched into the air, just like the Reaper Bomb throws units into the air. I didn't see it yet, but it must look hilarious, and I also think it is a buff because it gives the unit more potential for displacing enemy units. The Mazalisk's anti-air weapon damage was increased to 24, up from 18, but at the same time its attack speed got reduced. It is a slight DPS decrease, but it is probably still better for the unit because of how armor works, as I've mentioned when discussing the Manlink. Most importantly, it will make the unit better against high armor capital ships like battlecruisers, paragons and carriers, so watch out, because Mazalisks are out to hunt them down. Spitters no longer deal splash damage to friendly units, which is good because when facing enemy melee units they usually did more damage to your own army than to the enemy. They also received a new passive ability that basically turns them into Banelinks on death. When they die they deal 45 damage around them. It is weird that the living artillery received an adjustment like this, but it's pretty fun. I've tested the unit versus big numbers on Zealots and Zerglings and they trade with them really efficiently now, so I guess at least they won't die in vain when flanked or cut out in the map by some melee fighters. Now, let's talk about air unit changes. Raptor had a reputation for being an abusive unit, so it gets some changes. Its movement speed has decreased a little bit, so I think it no longer is the fastest unit in the game. Its damage went up by 1, but at the same time its attack speed got severely nerfed and the overall decrease of DPS is around 30%. Cleaving Sports bonus damage has changed from 3 plus 5 versus armored to 10 versus armored, so the unit got a little bit more specialized after the upgrade. Overall, I'm happy with the changes because it didn't make the unit unstoppable, and I think we are still going to see a lot of Raptors, but they will no longer be unstoppable like some people claimed they were. I'm looking at you, Mr. Magical Cookie. Another unit that the Scion community felt like was too strong is the Exterminator, and here I can definitely agree that the unit felt very strong indeed. I might even say that the Exterminator was like a king of the skies, and right now I think it's in a much better place. Its attack deals less damage but is faster now. Overall its anti-light DPS was reduced by around 30%, but to compensate its attack area got noticeably bigger. I've run some tests and it no longer dominates air units like Phoenixes or Vikings, and Void Raids basically turned the Exterminators into minced meat. Fancy some meatballs? The saddest thing about Exterminator changes is that they no longer receive +2 and +1 to light from their weapon upgrades, but only +1 to everything, which means they don't scale nearly as well as they did before. Last change is that the Exterminator's Incendiary Infusion ability also got changed. The damage and durations were reduced, but the cooldown is also shorter now. The functionality I didn't even know existed also got removed, and there are no extra ticks of damage now when the affected unit is attacked. As we can see, a nerf hammer hit the Exterminator pretty hard, so it remains to be seen if the unit is in a good spot now. That's all the changes to the Xayid. Overall, the Xayid received the least drastic changes, and its ranking among the Scion races is unchanged in my opinion. I think they are a solid mid-tier of the Scion races, and I am happy that some oppressive units were tuned down, while underused units were changed to be more appealing. Please people, play the bugs, we need more variety in the Scion tournaments. That's all for now. I hope you will check out next videos in this series dedicated to Genetral and Chiron, and I hope you like this material. Please subscribe if you want more. Shout out to my partner in crime, Zaxveng, who will probably edit this video for YouTube, and to all the people that stick to the end. Cheers!